By now, I'm sure all of you know what anime is. It's a bunch of weird Japanese cartoons that have a different animated style than American cartoons. What if I told you it wasn't as weird as you think? What if I told you it's not what people think? And that people don't really know what it is just due to the fact that it's animation. And it's not seen as something too serious because of that it's animation. And what better way to inform you than a fan of the medium itself? Let's begin, shall we? Now, anime is underappreciated and not seen as serious by a lot of people. Although it needs to be seen as this, because anime is not a genre. It is a type of animation. People like to see it as a genre and see it as something different than what it is. And although this encompasses many different genres in the medium, like just as any other type of media would, sci-fi, fantasy, action, romance, anything. But what really makes anime popular is the subgenres. The subgenres that have been popularized because of anime. And I will explain a few of the choice ones. And I'm sure if you've seen an anime, you'll recognize one of these. Shonen. Shonen is named after the demographic that it's targeted towards. 10 to 18-year-olds in Japan, which ironically, it's the most popular one in the West, being targeted at one of the youngest demographics in Japan. And it is encompassed of lots of action and adventure, and usually popular to a lot of people due to its simple plots. And anime like this include Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, Fairy Tail, ones I'm sure you've heard of. Now shoujo, this one is very popular, but not anywhere near as popular as shonen. In shoujo, there's a huge emphasis on romance and comedy, but mostly romance. And it is targeted to the opposite demographic of shonen, which is 10 to 18-year-old girls. Now, these series focus a lot on personal growth and have a usual idealistic world. Very perfect and cookie cutter. Examples of this is like Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, Fruits Basket, Say I Love You, stuff like that. Now, mecha, this is one that I'm sure a lot of people also know as, because this is a very popular genre, even though this genre is very simple in its plot, or not simple, but follows standard plots and formula. It got a lot more popular and a lot more known about since movies like Pacific Rim came out. And it takes a lot from Japanese mecha anime. And in the term mecha, it is short for mechanical, which means lots of robots and big robots fighting things. Fun. And it is also tied in with military, sci-fi, and action. And examples of this is like Gurren Lagann, Mobile Suit Gundam, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Darling in the Franxx, to be more recent, and Eureka 7. Isekai. Isekai is probably another one of the most popular ones nowadays. Got really popular back in 2010, but is really popular to the point of oversaturation almost. And Isekai in Japanese means another world, which means transported into another world in a fantasy setting, and is usually coupled in with lots of. It could also, by fantasy setting and transport into another world, it also sometimes goes into video game route, where it's like a virtual reality type thing. Examples of this include SAO, Overlord, Saga of Tanya the Evil, Konosuba, and ReZero. All very popular animes. Seinen, one that is probably the most towards adults type of series. It is its target demographic is 18 to 40 usually, and it is very mature in comparison to the rest of them, dealing with a lot of darker themes like sex, gore, and violence. And these stories are very cerebral in its narrative, very thought-provoking, and a little convoluted at times, but very enjoyable to some. Examples of this like Berserk, Black Lagoon, Drifters, Hellsing, Steins Gate, Cowboy Bebop, ones I'm sure you've heard of. Now, these subgenres are very unique, but it makes it different. And if it makes it so different, why isn't it more popular? And a lot of these subgenres, way too many to name, but still begs the question, why is it not as popular and as accepted? It's mostly due to the fact that it is animation. And animation in the West is not really seen as something that is towards adults. I'm sure if you're old enough, you grew up watching things like Disney and Warner Brothers animation, stuff like Looney Tunes, Mickey Mouse, and all that early animation was steered towards kids. And rightfully so. It was easy to make for a lot of people, and it was profitable. But animation can be made into a lot of different things due to its limitless possibilities. Some made for adults. And nowadays you can see a lot of animation, Western animation, towards adults that are made for adults. But a lot of these animations are mostly comedic in nature and as seen as crude and unintelligible. And of course anime has this too. This is synonymous with all media, but not all of it. And a lot of people like it. One of the biggest reasons why a lot of people like it is because of how different it is. There are shows that make you think of deeper things. And like I said earlier, limitless possibilities. You can do anything with animation. And a lot of these shows are impossible to replicate with regular actors and special effects. A lot of people have tried. There have been many anime adaptations. One of the most recent ones was Ghost in a Shell. That was based off of an anime, starring Scarlett Johansson. And it was good, but it just didn't capture what the anime is really about. And although there are limitless possibilities of this animation, these Japanese animators work in sometimes questionable work conditions and basically sell their lives to the craft. And after all the blood, sweat, and tears that they pour into, most of the time it's very much worth it. So a lot more effort is put into these type of shows than in conventional. And one of the biggest things that people love about anime is it just brings people together. I'm sure if you live in a popular town, there's actually one here in San Antonio, big anime conventions that happen. Lots of people gather from all around the US, around the world even, to come together to talk about this medium, this weird niche medium that's just very thought-provoking and fun and different, and we like it because of that. And it's just breathtaking how some of these shows can really make you think outside of yourself for a bit. And to conclude, I've done the best I can to show why you should give it a chance and why it's so great, but the only way you can really truly understand it is watch it yourself. There are many ways to watch it, a lot on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, just give it a try. Go online and see which anime best suits you based on the various subgenres, and it could change your life in the way you watch it. Some of these shows are really powerful, and it could change the way you think about things like it did me. So I thank you for listening.